And before we get started, two for a float, folks, I want you to know Mr. David is the owner, and I'm going to do this properly so you can see who will be my co-host for the next 4 weeks and give him his props because, you know, he's here in studio, and I want you folks to call in, particularly those of African descent and those who are Africans and African Americans. Call us at 410-481-1010. But I met a young brother named Timmy from Nigeria at the homegoing services of Congressman Elijah Cummings. And the young brother, Timmy, was dressed very nicely, nice suit, and looked really sharp. So I pulled him. I said, "Hey, brother, you're an African, aren't you?" He said, "Yes, yes, sir, yes, sir." And he gave me a copy of his magazine called The Catalyst. And I'm going to put this up right here so those who are listening and going to be watching this on Facebook Live later, you can see this magazine. And in this magazine, on the front cover, is pictured a young David Adodo.
Adodo.
And here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about him before we start our session today. He's the founder and president of Dave's Seafood, Meat and Poultry, LLC, Baltimore, Maryland. Dave's Seafood is the only USDA, and for those who don't know, that's the United States Department of Agriculture. This company, owned by Dave's Seafood, is the only USDA licensed African-owned company that supplies the whole of America with smoked chicken, smoked fish, smoked turkey, legal. And so this magazine has a wonderful article on Mr. David and how he came to America and how he grew up in his home state, Edo State of Nigeria in West Africa, and how one thing led to another. He served in the army there, and he made his way to meet some good folks, and they helped him and got him into America, and he's now an American citizen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So tell us about this journey coming from your state in Nigeria to America.
It was a wonderful journey.
Speak right into that mic for me.
It's a wonderful journey. Like I told you before, I grew up very, very poor back home in Nigeria, Edo State. I grew up without...
Pull that mic down right there. Pull it down a little bit if you need to. There you go.
Okay.
Speak right into it.
I grew up basically without the love of a father and a mother. You know, I grew up on the street. I was a street boy.
So you were an orphan?
Basically, my mother was there, but she wasn't she wasn't there. But I thank God, before she died, we reconciled, and she said, "David, I cannot believe that you, of all people, of all my children, you are the one that is feeding me today. If I had known, I would have treated you differently." But I never knew my dad. The very day I had the opportunity to ask her who my dad is, that was the last day she paid my school fees. So I was doing all jobs, you know. From there I joined the Nigerian Army. From the Nigerian Army I was helping people. We were coming from America at the airport. Because of my uniform, I was able to help a lot of people without being bothered by customs and touts at the airport. So one day, one of the guys said, "David, would you like to come to America?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, I'm going to send you some documents." Lo and behold, he sent me documents. I went to the embassy, American embassy, and they gave me a visa. Came over here, met a U.S. congressman, a senator from Florida, Connie Mack, who helped me to get my green card. And today I'm a citizen. It's been a wonderful journey. I'm very grateful to the United States.
And you've been a citizen how long now?
About 15 years now.
Okay. And so how did you get into the smoked turkey, smoked fish, smoked chicken business?
I did nursing here in America. So I'm with a military background, always very, very hardworking. I was very hardworking. So when I'm not working as a nurse, I will buy my ticket and go to Italy, go to Thailand, buy clothes and shoes and sell to other Africans who were interested in clothing and shoes and bags. So one day I traveled to Thailand and I saw smoked fish. I was like, wow, and it was very clean. So I bought some of this fish for my wife. When I got home, the people that came to buy clothes and shoes, they saw the fish, because that's what we eat in Africa, basically fish, because there's no preservation method. The only preservation method is through drying, smoking. So I said, wow. So I bought the fish, took them to Maryland. I'm on Bowie, and people that came to buy clothes, they started buying the fish. I said, wow. I said, why do I have to involve myself in clothing and shoes that people will not even pay you right away? Food, people will pay you right away for the food. So all the fish was sold. So I went back to the market. I went to meet the lady. I said, Madam, give me the information of where this fish is processed. He said, no, I'm not going to give you the information. I said, I'm taking this fish to America. United States of America have not allowed me to buy from you. They want me to go through the factory. There have to be a processing plan. So you need that processing plan to enable me buy a large quantity and take to America. He said, no. I gave her $100 bill. I said, take this $100 bill and give me the information. He said, no, I'm not going to take the $100 bill. I'm not going to give you any information. Buy whatever you want to buy from me. So I bought some fuel, brought it back again. The people that came to buy clothes bought everything. I said, wow. I said, well, let me go to the embassy, Thai embassy. I found out where it was. That time there was no Google, nothing like that. So I found out where it was in Georgetown. Went to the embassy. I told them I want a book on their fishing. So they gave me their book. I read everything. I started calling. I was calling Thailand to find out where that fish was processed. Most of them don't speak English. I was lucky to find a guy that spoke English. So I decided.
So you went to Thailand?
Yes, I go to Thailand all the time to buy clothes and shoes. I was selling when I'm off as a nurse. I would go over there to buy things to sell to nurses, my fellow nurses. So I called the gentleman. He picked up the phone. He said, when next you come to Thailand, go to that marketplace, go and meet that lady, buy the fish, and come to my office. I said, okay. So I traveled to Thailand again, bought the fish, went to his office. I showed him the fish. He said, I know where this fish is processed. I said, you know where this fish is processed? He said, yes. I said, okay. I need 100 cases. I said, I need 100 cases. He said, 100 cases? I said, yes. I paid for 100 cases, and he shipped them to me. The fish came, I sold everything. Now, as a nurse, I was having extra money in my pocket. Then I ordered a container load. When it came, FDA seized it. I said, wow.
They seized it?
They seized it. I said, okay. I said, what I'm going to do, I will begin to process it here in America. If I begin to process it here in America, they can only tell me they can only correct me. If I'm not doing it the right way, they will tell me how to go about it. So I started buying equipment. I bought some used equipment to start, and I got licensed. It was the same senator, Connie Mack, that helped me to get a license through the state of Maryland. State of Maryland, I got a license, and I started smoking the fish. From the fish, I started smoking chicken. That is USDA. I got USDA license. From smoking of the chicken, I got USDA license to smoke turkey. So from there, I made good money. I bought my plant in Baltimore. It was formerly owned by Phillips Seafood. So I bought the plant from Phillips Seafood. So that is where I'm operating right now.
Folks, this is Lou Fields, BDX Live, first Monday in December. We got 24 days before Christmas, 30 days before 2020, New Year's here. And I'm in the studio talking with Mr. David Adodo, and he runs and owns and operates America's first and only licensed USDA inspected African-owned smoked turkey, chicken, and fish processing plant right here in Zone 23, 21223 at 137 South Warwick Avenue. If you want to get some of this great smoked chicken and smoked turkey and fish, you call 202-247-1222. And we're in studio, and Mr. David just telling me a little bit about his life starting in Edo State in Nigeria, meeting our Congressman Connie Mack, coming into America, becoming a citizen, and now he has an interest in sharing African voices, African news with the African American and European American and Asian American and Caribbean American. Just going to start telling us more about what's happening in Africa. And so right now, Mr. David, how's your business going?
It's been great.
Okay, going good. How many people do you employ?
15.
You have 15 employees.
Yes.
And so will they be getting turkeys for Christmas?
Oh, yes. They got turkey during the Thanksgiving.
Yes, and I want to thank you and my friend Fran also for the wonderful box, folks, that you laid on us, because I was able to bless so many of my friends, because we love smoked turkey neck with them greens. And we love them smoked mackerel, and I just want to say to you, we appreciate it so much.
Thank you,
and so, folks, what we want to do now, as we begin to have this conversation every Monday, 2 o'clock to 2:30, with our good friend, Mr. David Adodo, and begin to acquaint ourselves with more things African. So for this part, David, I'm going to pass my phone to you and just keep my head and stuff dead center, and I'm going to give a little backdrop and keep it steady, steady hand. And what I want to do now to kick off this African Voices segment on BDX Live, which will be for the next 4 weeks, I want to give a little backdrop because many of our listening audience, Mr. David, may not know much about Nigeria, may not know that it's a country and on a continent known as Africa. So I did a little research, and here's what I came up with, and I just want to share this backdrop with our audience so they can begin to understand a little bit more about your home country, your home state, Nigeria. Nigeria is a multinational state. They have over 250 ethnic groups. Now, it's a country, but I said multinational. I'm just trying to let you folks know the makeup, the composition, if you will. There's over 250 ethnic groups. It's the largest are Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. 500 different languages. The official language for Nigeria is English. Nigeria is 50% Christian, 50% Muslims. Most of the Christians are down in the south. Most of the Muslims are up in the northern part of the country. Nigeria is the world's 20th largest economy, according to a 2015 report. Their gross domestic product is $500 billion. They have $1 trillion in purchasing power parity. In 2014, Nigeria overtook South Africa as Africa's largest economy. Emerging markets, it's an emerging market declared by World Bank, a regional power on the African continent, a middle power in international affairs, and an emerging global power. They do have a low human development index, and that's where the opportunity for you and me, business persons, come in to help develop the human capital and develop in Nigeria. Nigeria is a founding member of the African Union. It's also a member of the United Nations. It's a member of the Commonwealth of Nations as well as OPEC. They have 55 states in Africa. 55 member states in the African Union. It started the African Union in 1999. They launched it in 2002 in South Africa, with covering over 1 billion people and 11 million square miles. The name Nigeria is most likely taken from the Niger River, going back to the early civilizations in Africa and Nigeria. And a lot of this, folks, you can just Google Nigeria and you'll find a lot of this information on your website. As we move forward, we look at how the kingdoms, the Yoruba kingdoms, the Neri kingdoms, the Hausa kingdoms, as well as moving into the Middle Ages with the Benin empires and the Fulanis, and of course you got to touch on that African slave trade, but that's another show for another day. We look at the British influence in Nigeria from 1800 to 1960, and then we look at Nigeria getting its independence between 1960 and 1966. There was a Nigerian Civil War, 1967 to 1970. And then we had the current president elected in 2015. His name is Muhammadu
Buhari.
Muhammadu Buhari?
Yeah.
He's the current president. Natural resources in Nigeria. You have your oil. You have coal, rice, beans, nuts, palm oil, yams, soybeans, rubber.
Bitumen.
You have cocoa. It's the 12th largest producer of oil in the world. And its relationship with the United States of America is crucially important because as it relates to the United States, Nigeria is the largest trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa. Nigeria supplies 20% of our oil imports. It's the 7th largest trade surplus with the United States. Also, it's the 14th largest exporter of goods to the United States. 50th largest export market for United States goods, and the Nigerian largest foreign investor. The United States is Nigeria's largest foreign investor. They also have in Nigeria the Nigerian Stock Exchange, which is the 2nd largest in Africa. They do have armed forces. They have the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. But Nigeria is breaking new initiatives in financial matters, legal, communications, transportation, and of course, we just need to know that the misconceptions about Africa is what we as Americans see often on the television stations. But in 2007, Nigeria already was doing over billions of dollars in import-export. They have a National Space Research and Development agency there, headed in the capital, which is Abuja.
Abuja.
Yeah. Somebody thought it was Lagos.
No, it's Abuja.
Abuja.
Lagos is the commercial capital.
The commercial capital. We also have in Nigeria mining, natural gas, as I mentioned, all those minerals, gold, zinc, iron, limestone, lead, all that is in Nigeria. Over 159 oil fields, over 1,400 in operation in the Niger Delta. The flag is green and white.
Yes.
That's the colors of the flag. And so I brought that for you today. So this is your pen, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Here from BDX Live.
Thank you, sir.
And,
I appreciate this.
Just to close this out a little bit more about Nigeria, manufacturing, leather, textiles, even automobile manufacturers over there with the Inosan, rapid transit buses, SUVs, and then electronic manufacturers, first branded Nigerian computer and electronics firm, Xerox. Education, unfortunately, this is where we might, as African Americans, can begin to help this country a little more. 68% of Nigerians are literate. Men, 75%, women, only 60%. That's a place where we can help out a little more as African Americans with the education components, because we do have the materials, we do have the things to talk about. So, Mr. David, I just wanted to get that out to give our listening audience a little bit of information about Nigeria, the country, to dispel some of the false beliefs people have in America about your country. So I think if you wanted to add anything to it, because I probably left out some stuff, so if you want to add some things, you can, but just tell us about your country, your homeland.
Wow, wonderful. You did a fantastic job. I don't know how you came about all of that, but that was wonderful.
Well, you got to do your research,
yes,
you know?
Yes, we have democracy right now in Nigeria, you know, and the present president, President Muhammadu Buhari, you know, he's doing a fantastic job. You know, in fact, infrastructure right now is his major focus. You know, he just set up train lines everywhere in Nigeria. So transportation is a big in Nigeria because the large population. We have more than 200 million people.
Yes.
So you need transportation. So the president is doing a fantastic job on that. And also
in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, yes.
200 million people?
Yes.
But you know, in America, we have 300 million. Yes. So Nigeria is almost quite as large, two-thirds as large as us.
Yes.
And one thing I didn't talk about was tourism to Nigeria. And that's a big industry sector too. People traveling from here want to go to Nigeria.
Yes.
Is there a specific airport persons fly into?
Yes, there are airports everywhere in Nigeria. There's the one in Lagos, you know, Murtala Mohammed International Airport.
Which is it called?
Murtala Mohammed International.
Is that the one you fly into?
Yes.
Okay.
It's in Lagos. It's in Lagos, Nigeria. Yes, we have international airport in Abuja. We have one in Port Harcourt. That's the oil capital of Nigeria. You know, we have another one in Enugu. You know, you have another one springing up in Warri. There are so many airports in Nigeria now.
Okay. So how long a flight is it from if you leave here to fly home?
But if you are flying straight, sometimes you have to connect to another city, another country. So if you are flying straight, it's about 15 hours.
So what do you do on a plane for 15 hours?
Play music, listening to
watch movies or
watch
something.
Movies while you're on your way.
So that's 15 hours. That's like leaving here at 9 o'clock in the morning and getting there at 9 o'clock at night.
Yes.
That's 12 hours.
I know.
And so if you and I were to take a trip to Nigeria, where would be the first place you would take me?
Personally, I would go to Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay, and then when we got there, where would we go?
Oh, we can go to Fela Shrine. Fela is an Afrobeat king of the whole of. Let me just say.
What about Freedom Park? Can I go to Freedom Park?
Yes.
Tell me about Freedom Park.
Freedom Park is there's one in Abuja where you know people who want to speak their mind, they go and they speak their mind, and nobody will harass you.
That's why it's called Freedom Park?
Yes, that's why it's called Freedom Park. And, you know, people go there to protest against the government. You know, there's always protest every now and then in every country. So Freedom Park is a place where people are free to say whatever they want to say without being prosecuted, without being arrested for. You know.
What about the Festech Food Fair?
There used to be Festac. That was where all Africans had the festival of art. That was years ago. We're still very little. So it's a huge complex in Lagos, Nigeria. So all African countries were there to celebrate African art and culture. But right now, it's still there. But other activities happen also in Lagos. In terms of food, culture, everything Africa, everything right there. But the most tourist place I would say you should go is Fela Shrine, the Afrobeat King.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very nice place to go.
So I also see that there are a lot of Nigerians in Maryland.
Yes.
What do you account for that? Why do you guys settle in Silver Spring and Baltimore like yourself? What attracts y'all to Maryland?
Yeah. Maryland is a very beautiful city. And,
state.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah, Maryland is a very beautiful state. And Baltimore is a beautiful city. So most Nigerians are well educated, and because of the higher learning in the state of Maryland, most Nigerians want to come over here to study. Nigerians are very focused in study.
Yeah, I noticed they go to England, to different universities all over the country. They're well traveled.
Yes,
Nigerians,
well traveled people,
and speak many different languages.
Yes.
But I just seem to meet more Nigerians in this Maryland area than anywhere in the country. When I travel, I can always know I'm Nigerian. I mean, you guys are here, very big numbers.
Because of the high institutions are here.
The education institutions.
Hawkins, West of Maryland. So Nigerians are, education focused. So they always go to all these universities. And most of the doctors you have in this country are Nigerians. Most of the nurses in this country today are Nigerians. So Nigerians are well-educated people. So they always congregate in areas, in states and cities where you have great institutions.
So this thirst for education, was that something that was in Nigeria, or when you came to America, that became a part of what attracted Nigerians to America, education?
We were colonized by the British.
Yeah, the British, yes.
Yes, and Nigerians are very focused people when it comes to, they are very focused and very dedicated when it comes to education. They want to study. So every Nigerian, there's no family in Nigeria where you don't have a graduate.
Hold tight. To talk a little bit, if you could, David, about some of the services, like transportation services in Nigeria. I think you mentioned something about free train service right now.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, just undertook a serious venture on transportation. So the train service, he has set up a lot of train stations in Nigeria. So train network, the Chinese are helping to build a lot of train stations in Nigeria, and to facilitate easy ride and safety during this holiday period. The president is actually, the Minister for Transportation, Rotimi Amechi is his name. With the collaboration of the federal government, they decide to give all Nigerians free train ride from November till March 30th, just to make sure that during the holiday period, transportation will be a little bit easy for them.
Oh, free train service. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Anytime the government does something for the citizens, it's beautiful. Because even right now in my city, it's projected that our city hall will have city government will have a $34 million surplus. And I'm asking that they would ask the citizens of the city what to do with that surplus, and maybe they could give us some free train rides, or because that bus fare is $4, and people know they're paying $4 every day. That's $20 a week, $60-$80 a month. So that's wonderful that those Nigerians who would be able to can get on a train in November all the way through March. And it's complimentary, no charge.
No charge.
Yeah, that's good news. That's really good news. That's really good news.
It really alleviates the poverty of the masses.
And another thing people always like to talk about when you talk African is soccer.
Yes.
Soccer, the world's #1 sport. So what do you got on soccer? You playing soccer? You Nigerians play soccer?
Of course. Nigeria is, Nigeria right now.
Well, you know Cameroon right next door to y'all is pretty good.
It's pretty, but not right now.
Not right now. But
Senegal actually is ranked by FIFA right now.
Senegal, the little teeny nation.
Yes, West African country. Is ranked #1 right now by FIFA as the best team in Africa.
That's really great.
Yes.
I didn't know is the World Cup coming up soon?
Yeah, coming up soon. Then another one again is Tunisia. Tunisia is ranked #2 in Africa. And again, Senegal, that is number 1 in Africa, is actually number 20 in the world. I mean, for a small country.
Number 1 in Africa, but 20 for the world.
Yes, but it's a little country like Senegal. You really have to congratulate them.
Yes, yes, of course.
Then Tunisia, another North African country, is ranked number 2 by FIFA. You know, and I think they are maybe number 27 in the world. Then Nigeria is ranked number 3rd. The Green Eagles of Nigeria is ranked number 3rd. Yes.
That's great that Senegal would be outranking Nigeria, but you got 200 million people, and they got a few million people.
I know.
But hey, folks, remember now, we're in studio, and this is a new segment we're going to air for the next 3 to 4 weeks at 2 o'clock to 2:30. So if you have any African friends or friends interested in all things African, have them tune in every Monday at 2 p.m. to 2:30. We'll be in studio with Mr. Dave, and we'll be talking about things relating to Africa, and it may be sports, it may be politics, it may be culture, it may be events, it may be Africans doing well in America that maybe we can profile some of them, and maybe we'll bring in some more of our African friends in studio over the next 3 or 4 weeks. And you also can be a part of this conversation by calling 410-481-1010 AM. 410-481-1010. We're on 1010 AM or WRBBaltimore.com. So let's talk a little bit more about other things that you might want to share today on our opening inaugural segment, Mr. Dave, because I don't want to try to cover all the topics. What else would you want to share with our audience today, as this is our first opportunity to have the talk?
I want to talk about a Nigerian billionaire who is working, who is doing wonderful things.
A Nigerian who?
Billionaire.
Yes, a lot of people don't know. If you research the world's top 10 richest people, 4 of the 10, I believe, are Nigerians. Yes, indeed.
Alhaji Dangote of Nigeria.
Say it again.
Alhaji Dangote.
Alhaji
Dangote.
Alhaji Dangote.
Yes, Dangote of Nigeria.
What is it, all in all?
And it's in everything.
Yeah, I guess
Food,
so.
Everything.
When you're a billionaire, you get in everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's setting up the largest refinery in the whole of Africa.
All refinery?
All by himself. The oil refinery. And he has spread his tentacles all over Africa.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Beautiful.
doing wonderful things, helping people. Transportation, cement, salt, rice. He's doing, he's the richest, and he's doing great.
And this is what people don't realize, that again, 4 of the top 10 richest people in America, in the world, are Nigerians, and they billionaires in Nigeria, folks. And so we'll talk more about other issues as it relates to Nigeria, infrastructure, education, schools, culture, what the people are doing on a daily basis, and everything in the next couple of weeks.
And another thing I want to say, Nigerians are very friendly people back home in Nigeria. We are very friendly people. When you come over there, they're going to treat you. When you go over there, Mr. Lewis, we're going to treat you like a king that you are.
And most of the ones I met here are very nice too. I just haven't met too many Africans who are not very cordial to me anyway. And that's one of the reasons why I thought it'd be so great to have the show, is to help other people understand that Black Americans, we got issues. We got good, we got bad, we got pretty, we got ugly. It's like that everywhere.
Yes.
No one place is going to have all perfect people, but people are working together. And that's what I wanted to do here as an African American, is to work with my African brother to show and tell and have our listeners realize we have to work together as people of color. There are times when our oppressors would look at you and I as no different, and maybe still today, because of the color of our skin. But I will say, and I applaud the fact, you did not let your humble beginnings, lack of a father, lack of a stable home, lack of everything you needed to get you to where you are today. In fact, it would seem to me, Mr. David, that you use those things that you did not have to get to where you are today.
Exactly.
They sort of fueled your desire to be something and do something and have a wonderful life for yourself. And I'm sure, like, you're employing 15 other people. And I'm sure, it was some other things I read about Nigeria, and I'm sure you're part of this. It stated that the second largest foreign exchange in Nigeria is Nigerians sending money back home.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
You see?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I read the stat. I think I have the stat here. I'm going to find it and share it with you folks about Africans who haven't forgotten where they came from here in America, sending funding back to their homeland. And I wrote it down, and I'm going to take my time. Here it is, right here. In 2004, Nigerians, in 2004, this is like 15 years ago, sent $2.3 billion home in 04. In 07, 3 years later, they sent $17 billion home. And so what that says, folks, is that Nigerians who have came to America may be doing well here, but they haven't forgotten home. And these are Nigerians in America, England, Italy, Canada, Spain, France, China, who are sending money back to their loved ones back home. And so if I could get the engineer to give me a round of applause for that, because anytime you got people who done made it, but they haven't forgot who that got them there, that's very important. And so that's all our time for today, Dave. But give them your phone number in case somebody want to call you and get some of this good smoked turkey, fish, and meat. Or if you're Nigerian, you're going to be on the show, call. But go ahead, give them your number, Dave.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Yeah, my phone number is 202-247-1222. I want to thank you very much for all that you are doing for Africa. You're an African original.
I love Africa. I love Africa and all things.